Hey, welcome back to OHB Sports, and in today's video, I will be covering the NBA playoffs. First of all, it is round 1, and we're about halfway through with about 3 to 4 games played depending on the team. So, sit back, relax, grab some popcorn, and let's get into it. Starting off in the Eastern Conference in round 1, we have the Cleveland Cavaliers versus the 8 seed Miami Heat. The Cavaliers are rolling. They're up 3-0 on the Miami Heat at the moment, and honestly, it hasn't even been close. And Game 3 really cemented it. The Cavs won by nearly 40 points, 124-87. And overall, the Cavs have just completely dominated the Heat. Jarrett Allen and Evan Mobley in Game 3 combined for a total of 41 points, controlling the paint on just both sides of the court. The Cavs scored 60 points in the paint compared to Miami's 30, a stat that sums up perfectly the series. During that game, Miami was missing Darius Garland due to a toe injury, and it shows. Without him, the Heat just can't create enough offense to ward off the Cavaliers. They were held up to only 87 points in Game 3, which is one of their lowest playoff outputs ever. Cleveland hasn't trailed in any of the second half this series. They've been dominating from tip-off to buzzer, and unless Miami pulls off a miracle, this series is as good as over. Second of all, we have the number 2 seed, the Boston Celtics, versus the number 7 seed, Orlando Magic. And this is around the time where things start to get more interesting. You see, the Boston Celtics came into the playoffs with championship expectations, but after 3 games, they are only up 2-1 on the young, fearless Orlando Magic. Boston took the first 2 games, but Orlando punched back hard in Game 3 with a 95-93 win. Franz Wagner dropped 32 points, while Paolo Banchero, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, added 29, and they took advantage of a Celtics team that looked out of sync. Even though Jason Tatum played through a sore wrist and scored 36 points, Boston turned the ball over 21 times, their worst performance of the season in that department. Overall, the Magic played tough in that Game 3 with physical defense that just completely forced Boston out of their rhythm. And now here's the most worrying part for the Celtics fans. Not only is Tatum banged up, but Jaylen Brown is dealing with a sore knee and Drew Holiday tweaked his hamstring. Health might be the real opponent for Boston coming forward, and it might just be the end of their season. Now for the third part of the East, the 3 seed, the New York Knicks, versus the 6 seed Detroit Pistons. The Knicks are currently holding a 2-1 lead after a wild Game 3. Karl Anthony Towns bounced back from a bad Game 2, scoring 32 points, and incredibly, every starter for New York has scored at least 20 points. Towns, Jalen Brunson, Michael Bridges, Josh Hart, they all went off, and you can almost never kind of see that balanced production in the playoffs. Detroit's Cade Cunningham is doing his best job to try and keep the team alive, putting up 24 points in Game 3, but it feels like the Pistons are missing that extra gear that they need to actually steal games away. New York's experience and depth are shining through, and if Towns continues to play aggressively, the Knicks should be in a good shape to finish off this finals. And now for the 4th series of the finals, the Indiana Pacers in the 4 seed versus the 5 seed Milwaukee Bucks. The Indiana Pacers are currently leading the series against the Bucks 2-1, but Milwaukee reminded everyone last night why they're a huge danger with a huge Game 3 win. Gary Trent Jr. went nuclear, scoring 37 points and setting a Bucks playoff record with 9 made threes. Giannis Antetokounmpo also looked unstoppable, 37 points, 12 rebounds, and 6 assists, nearly a triple-double. Indiana had controlled the series early by getting out to big leads, but this time, the Bucks had flipped the script. The Bucks' defense tightened up, and when Trent caught fire, Indiana just couldn't keep up. Now it's a series. Indiana still has the edge, but Game 4 is going to be huge for the momentum of the series. Now, enough about the East. What about the West side? Well, the West side has been great, with the 1 seed OKC Thunder versus the 8 seed Memphis Grizzlies already being completed with a complete sweep by OKC. Since they sweep the Grizzlies, they have already advanced to round 2, so we won't have to see them for a little bit. As you may know, Ja Morant did not play in Game 4, and therefore the Memphis Grizzlies just didn't have the power to go well. Also, adding salt to the wound, our favorite free-throwing legend, SGA, just made it even worse. SGA led with a whopping 38 points, and OKC never even trailed the entire game. OKC Thunder's defense, depth, and pace made them look like real contenders for the title, and they're young, they're deep, and they're very hungry. Whoever they face next should be very, very nervous. Now for an even bigger series, the number 2 seed Houston Rockets versus the number 7 seed Golden State Warriors. And this has been one of the biggest surprises so far. The Golden State Warriors, the 7 seed, are actually leading 2-1 against the 2 seed Houston Rockets, and they've done it without Jimmy Butler, who's sidelined with a glute injury. Steph Curry turned back the clock in Game 3, scoring 36 points with 9 assists and just controlling the entire flow of the game. Meanwhile, after torching Golden State for 38 points in Game 2, Houston's Jalen Green was held to just 9 points in Game 3. Jimmy Butler might soon return, which would make Golden State even more deadly, and if Houston can't find a more consistent offense behind Jalen Green, they're in some real trouble. And oh boy, we have a big one. The 3 seed LA Lakers versus the 6 seed Minnesota Timberwolves. Over in Minnesota, the Timberwolves have taken a 3-1 lead over the Lakers, although this script only has the first 3 games completed, so sorry, this recap's about Game 3, not 4. And in Game 3, Minnesota outscored LA 56-26 inside. Jalen McDaniels had a breakout performance with 30 points, and Anthony Edwards was phenomenal yet again with 29 points, 8 rebounds, and 8 assists. LeBron James, at 40 years old, continues to defy logic, scoring a whopping 38 points and setting a playoff record for a player his age. But Luka Doncic struggled. He scored just 17 points while battling a stomach illness, and the Lakers' offense looked more stagnant without him at full strength. The Lakers are now in some serious trouble, and they're facing some serious pressure. Minnesota's athleticism and depth have been a huge problem thus far. Do you think they could pull off the reverse sweep to win back the series? Who knows? And now for the final match. The Denver Nuggets sitting in 4 versus the LA Clippers sitting in 5. They are tied 2-2 after an absolutely crazy Game 4. Denver blew an almost 20-point lead, but thanks to some late-game heroics, they managed to survive. Nikola Jokic posted an absolutely ridiculous stat line: 36 points, 21 rebounds, and a triple-double, carrying the Nuggets for long stretches. And in the final seconds, Aaron Gordon caught Jokic's mistake and slammed home the buzzer beater for the win. Talk about clutch moments. The series has been about as tight as it can get. Kawhi Leonard and James Harden are doing their part for the Clippers, but Denver's resilience and Jokic's serious brilliance have kept them afloat. And this Game 5 is going to shape up to become an absolute must-watch. So here's a quick recap of the series. As of recording, the Cavaliers lead the Heat 3-0, the Celtics lead the Magic 2-1, the Knicks lead Pistons 2-1, the Pacers lead the Bucks 2-1, the Thunder beat the Grizzlies 4-0, the Warriors lead the Rockets 2-1, the Timberwolves lead the Lakers 3-1, and lastly, the Nuggets are tied with the Clippers 2-2. Now here's my final thoughts. The 2025 NBA playoffs are delivering the drama that we absolutely love. We've got dominance in OKC, surprise upsets, and some aging legends still fighting, and the young stars making their names in Nikola Jokic. And we're only in round 1. Including that, we're not even done with round 1. There's still a lot of basketball to play and a lot of big questions to answer. Can the Lakers survive? Will the Warriors manage to upset without Butler? And can OKC announce themselves as a true title contender? Well, I'll be covering it all here on this channel, OHB Sports, so make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel with notifications, and let me know in the comments who has been the MVP of the playoffs so far. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.